won't believe how many RVers make these rude mistakes at campgrounds, sometimes without even realizing it. If you don't want to be that camper, stick around because we're exposing the worst campground etiquette offenses and how to avoid them. This last offense, you're not going to want to miss. Welcome to the channel, and let's get started.
The first offense is being the master of liquid courage, or in other words, overly inebriated.
Or just plain drunk.
Now, we've been in many campsites where we don't mind someone having a good time.
Look, we're all there to have fun and a really good time. And we all like to have some spirits in the process. Hey, you know, when we go camping, when they have the campground crawls, we participate in all that.
Yes.
But it gets to a point where it goes from just having fun and enjoying yourself to
just crazy people up half the night creating problems.
Like, everyone's different when they have too much alcohol, and you have to understand what type of person you are when you're drinking.
Yes.
There are some people who just get really quiet, become introverted into themselves. There are some that just might sit there and pass out. Then there are others that become angry drunks.
Yes.
The ones that become loud drunks, and they sort of forget that there are other people around them. I mean, we used to be with the camping club, and how many times did we hear apologies the next morning for behaviors that occurred while adults had too much alcohol.
We also had some crazy, big, dangerous fires.
Things were just sort of exploding out of the fire, and alcohol was going into the fire.
Into the fire,
And what it comes down is to two things. Well, maybe three things. One, it's just not safe.
No, it's not.
You embarrass yourself and you embarrass those with you.
It's not a good look.
And the campgrounds are full of kids, and these are not the kinds of things that kids need to be seeing.
No.
And even if you were in an adults only campground, still it's not pleasant. Some of us actually go camping to relax and be out in nature and enjoy nature, and not to see our neighbor throwing up because they had too much to drink.
Right. Now the next one is really disgusting. Please don't use the picnic table to clean out your sewer equipment.
Now this is one that we have actually seen. We have seen people take dirty sewer hoses, put them on the picnic table, and then run water through it. Now here's the thing. They're not doing it on their picnic table. They're doing it on the picnic table that's on the sewer side. So it's their neighbor's picnic table.
Yes, that's not good.
And maybe that neighbor hasn't, moved into their site yet, so they're completely unaware. So folks, this is why you cover your picnic table and you cover the seats.
She always does.
Because
always.
You do not know who was at that table before you.
Or what they were up to.
People use it as a workbench. People use it for lots of different things. But, the picnic tables are there for people to be able to have their meals and enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah, it's gross.
It's really gross.
Here's another one that is really, when it happens to you, it's a huge inconvenience. Please check your site number before parking your RV. We went to a beach campsite, that's right, and they not only did they park in the wrong site, they had hooked up and they were out cooking.
And it's really tough because, we picked that site for a reason.
Right.
And they were brand new, and we understand, and we don't want to be the bad guys, and we don't want to make anybody move. But the problem is that their reservation was only for one night. Our reservation was for 3 nights.
And because our reservation was longer than theirs, we would have to move to a different location somehow, and we didn't have another location reserved.
And there was somebody coming into their campsite the next day.
Right.
So we would have had to have waited for them to move out.
Right.
And then moved, and then we would have lost a day and time at the beach. And what was really unfortunate is they got really angry with us.
Yes. Yes. I hated that we caused them some problems there because one person was a little upset at their partner there, and it wasn't pleasant. But we also have a much bigger rig than theirs because it would have been kind of tight where they had reserved, and it turned out they reserved right across the street from where they actually parked. So I'm not sure how they did that, but they parked over here. and we needed this space, and they had to pick up and move right across the street from us.
And there was a reason that we chose that spot. We really liked that spot, and I would have been willing to give it up just because they were new and because we're nice people.
Right. But the timing was wrong.
The timing was just wrong, and it would have taken away from our time that we had planned to be at the beach. I don't know, folks. Are we the bad people?
I
in
mean,
this case, you have to make sure when you're pulling into your site, it doesn't matter how late it is, that you're checking that site number.
Yes.
You don't want to end up in that situation, and it's so important. And sometimes it's really hard to tell, and that's the first thing that we do when we get to any campsite. We look to see what is our site number, and then I hop out and I verify that the site that John's backing into before he even gets started is the right site number, so that we don't end up taking somebody else's space. Something else that really bothers us and is true bad form and bad etiquette is staying past your reservation. Now, I understand that sometimes things happen. We once had a reservation and we had to stay a little bit longer because our slide would not come in, and there's nothing you can do in a situation like that, and I think everybody just has to be understanding and very patient. But we have seen cases where people just wanted to get a little bit of extra time at the campsite,
yes.
And as a result, they were still there when the next person arrived, and you're taking away time from their reservation, you're taking away time from their fun, and to be quite honest and frank, it's very, very selfish.
Right.
So if you have a time on your reservation that you have to leave by, please be sure to have all of your stuff packed up and ready to go, and you're out of the site by that time. That time is not a suggested time. It's not indicating the time that you're supposed to pack up and get ready to leave. It's the time that you're supposed to be gone out of your site.
And I tell you, it's hard when you're in a large rig to wait for someone to get out because you're blocking the entire road. There's no way to get around you. So you have to either move and go around the loop again and maybe again.
And again.
And again until they get out of the way.
Look, you know what? Campers, RVers, we're just a great bunch of people.
Yeah.
They're the best people I've ever met in my life. And so I don't think that people do these things on purpose, but I do think that we have to be considerate
right.
of others. What's the next one, John?
The next one is being loud after quiet hours. Now, this one kind of goes back to the people that are inebriated sometimes, too, but not always.
They do fall into that category.
They fall into that, but then sometimes you have people that are just having a great time hanging out, and they just want to stay up all night long.
And, there's nothing wrong with, staying up and enjoying your friends
right.
as you're camping together, but you do have to be considerate of others that are at the campground. There are people with young kids, there are people who are on different sleep schedules, and there's nothing wrong with staying up, but just, remember when it's quiet hours, and for most campgrounds that's around 10 or 11 p.m. Just maybe turn the music down some,
yes.
and still keep the fire going, and you can keep talking.
Yeah,
but just realize that there are other people around who might need to get some rest. And some people live full time in their campers, and they have to get up and go to work in the morning.
Oh, that's right. I didn't think of that.
So you should also be very considerate of that too.
Yes. Because we've had some partiers on occasion, and not, like I said, not drunk, just having fun.
Yeah, this next one here.
You do have a bit of a pet peeve with this one.
I do, and folks, tell me if I'm out of line on this one. I'm willing to hear what you have to say, but we stayed at a campground in New York that had some very, very spacious sites, lots
yes.
and lots of room. I mean, we had the entire site. I could have probably fit 4 or 5 Jeeps, one next to the other. One next to the other in that site. And we had neighbors who were camping with other people, which
yes.
is wonderful, wonderful. But they set up all of their chairs as close to, and I have no idea why, our sewer as they could, which put them right under our slide pretty much.
And they also parked their vehicles pretty darn close to this side of the vehicle. I mean, they had all their stuff out. I mean, they had toys. So it was a little nerve-wrackingly close to us.
And I don't understand that. I mean, wouldn't you want to be closer to where your food is and
yeah.
your kids are and everything else? Why Why do you want to? I mean, were they trying to maximize space? I guess so. But man, that's just rude because it didn't matter how softly they were talking.
We could hear it.
It was like 12 o'clock at night, but because all their chairs were right up under our slide, we could hear everything they were saying.
Yes, it was a long night.
So please, just be considerate of that. There's some of us who really, really need our sleep, or we get very grumpy, and then our husbands, we take it out on them.
A little bit.
And then finally, we sometimes camp in bear country. And the thing about camping in bear country is that bears have an awesome sense of smell. They can smell food for like miles away, and they will come looking for it if they're hungry. And that is why most campgrounds that are located near bear activity will provide for you a lockbox to store your food. And there's a reason why campgrounds do that, because bears can pick up the scent of food from miles away, and it's just not safe. And so a lot of campgrounds will provide storage containers to keep the bears away from us, the people at the campground, and to keep us safe. But so many times we've gone to campgrounds in bear country, and what have we seen?
We've seen just food and food trash everywhere because people prepare meals, or they have kids. One of our neighbors had kids, and they were preparing a lot of sandwiches and things like that, but they did not put all their food away.
They left everything out. And
yes.
That's just a big hazard, and that's just a big no-no. We should be looking out for each other as RVers, and just making sure that everybody's safe and everybody's happy and everybody's having a good time. Let us know what are some etiquette rules that you've seen broken on your camping trips, and let us know if we're just being too tough. Let us know if we just don't know how to have a good time. And after you put that down in the comments, go check out this video here about 7 sneaky laws.
Yeah.
Right there in John's face.
Right here.